Alright, so here we go. So I was planning on doing this every week, but I guess we're going to do it every 9 to 10 days or so with a total wrap up at the end. So end of day 9 pretty much for the 30 days of S110V. I'll go ahead and run down the use I put it through and what I've done to it since then. For those of you that don't know, this was originally made for industrial cutters, industrial rolling machines, for food applications, things of that nature. It was designed to be an industrial steel. I've read tons of stuff about how S110V chips, if you cut zip ties or anything like that. So I cut all the stuff the past 9 days that, you know, as much of it as I could anyway, that people told me damaged S110V. So let's get into it. The first night, as crazy as it sounds, I cut 7 hoagie rolls. All our bread knives were dirty and sliced through them just fine. Over the course of 9 days, I opened 2 small boxes, 1 medium box, and 2 large boxes. I cut up a few really big boxes into smaller pieces on purpose. I measured it out and did the math. It is roughly 95 feet, give or take 6 inches or so. On top of that, I cut 27 pallet straps with this. I opened, I opened 9 bubble envelopes. I cut 3 of them up into pieces big enough to wrap knives up to send out for testing. I opened 12 of the foil type coffee packages for work. I opened 4 plastic food packages, 1 harder plastic blister pack, 7 paper cuts, 1 per day. I didn't check it yesterday. I'm sorry, I didn't check it the first day. I didn't check it today. I didn't check it today, and I'll get to that in a minute. And, oh, there I am. And I cut 18 zip ties. The last thing is a delivery driver brought some new furniture to my work, and he did not have a knife. I did end up giving him one that I keep in the car. But in the meantime, I gave him this, and he cut down 4 pallets worth of shrink wrap. You know, full-size adult pallets, 5 to 6 feet tall. So that's the cutting that I did with this in the first 9 days. Not sure how well it's going to pick it up. I do not have a magnifier. I cut zip ties with all different portions of this blade. And the only thing I can figure, people that are chipping S110V cutting zip ties are chipping S110V because they're running it into a fence or a shelf or something else that's damaging the edge, because I observed 0 damage after cutting 18 zip ties in about a 8 to 10 minute period. So far, absolutely nothing wrong with S110V. The only thing that I did have to struggle with is the sharpener part of my brain wanted to sharpen this yesterday. But the testing side of my brain wanted to push it, and all I did was strop it. I stropped it the same way I would strop for an edge retention test. 6 micron, 3 micron, 1 micron, 5 passes per side, each side. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. It is really wet out in the air, and it is starting to rain, but just to give you an idea of the state of the Apex after 9 days and all that use we just went over, it does have a little hang up or two. But as you can see, 9 days of use, what I just covered, still holding up just fine. Not quite sure where all the negative things about S110V come from, and I will, not sure if it's going to be next time that I update this or when it needs sharpened. I am going to sharpen it and do a video real time so you can see exactly how long it takes to sharpen S110V. I don't find it to be much more difficult than S90V, honestly. S90V is easier, don't get me wrong, but I don't find S110V to be hard to sharpen. I don't know if you can hear it back here toward the heel where I've done a bunch of cutting. There's a little bit of a hang up. So that's where we are with S110V. The only other thing I'm finding difficult is, while I do like the PM2, it's not my favorite knife. I honestly should have started this out with this and mid-month switched to my S110V Manix, but I'm going to go ahead and stick it out with this guy. I don't find anything wrong with it, especially since this has a much finer tip that could get damaged or something possibly. I don't know. I mean, I will be doing things like cutting through the tops of 5-gallon buckets. I have some at work that I have to cut the lids off and clean out. I will be using this. If any damage happens, we're definitely going to show it on camera, talk about it. So far though, nothing bad going on with S110V. Perfectly fine user steel. You know, I don't pry with most of my knives. I have certain ones that I know will take that abuse. This isn't one of them. I don't use it as a screwdriver. I have plenty of tools at work. But so far, that's what I've done with S110V. This is how it's doing. Day 9, I believe it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time right now in the evening. That's all I have, guys. I don't have much else to say about it. Other than I will say, with the stuff I have cut so far, a fair portion of the edge has lost its ability to shave hair anymore. That would be the back portion that cut most of the cardboard, zip ties and plastic straps, shrink wrap on the pallets, and so on. So that's what I have so far for S110V. Nothing to be afraid of. No mythical steel here or anything like that. Works just fine for whatever you do. I am going to step it up for the next update and cut some much tougher materials. Maybe even chop some, maybe 1.5 to 2-inch branches in half, something like that. Something to really put some stress on the edge and see what it'll take. But so far, it's going strong. That's all I have for this. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.